guys. I've got a little more time than I did last Tuesday, so I'll try to bring this to you. What I'm getting is it's really amazing, because where we are right now, it's interesting. We've got people that are under gag orders. We've got people that, we normally hear from that we're not really hearing from as much, but we're still getting a little bit of information here and there that's coming through and allowing us to draw a picture on where we think we are. Now, to be completely honest with you, which I am, we were looking for this to occur this week, either Tuesday, Wednesday, and the fact that we have not received that yet is just an indication that when we thought we'd have this and everybody was prepared for it, we thought it just didn't happen yet. We don't know exactly. People always ask me, who's holding it up? Why hasn't it gone? Who's holding it up? And it's hard to define that specifically as a person or an agency that's holding it up. So I try not to go there, because realistically, it's difficult to pin that down anyway. It is. You do hear, and I do hear from time to time, certain things that have occurred that, that happen. But to be completely frank, it's just difficult to narrow it down sometimes and know without a doubt what is actually happening. Now, when we talk typically about Iraq, we talk in terms of, have they moved forward? Have they put their rate on the CBI? That kind of a thing. I know one good thing. You've got the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq. His name is Alak. You've got him working in conjunction with Dr. Shabibi. Dr. Shabibi has made a comeback to the point where he is there to sort of oversee and, I think, be part of this whole process for the central bank. Abadi is working with those two, and who knows who else, in conjunction with bringing everything forward. We had a lot of the basic things that we were looking for happen already. We were looking for today, actually, a number of agencies inside Iraq to be paid today. We were looking for that, and I have not been able to confirm whether they did get paid or not. It's sort of something that we haven't been able to narrow down yet. But there was a group, just everybody you can think of, that needed to be paid and sort of caught up, were supposed to be caught up and paid at the new rates. Now, we'll set that aside and say, okay, what else? Well, we do know that the ATM machines are loaded with the new and I'm just not going to take that call, guys. Sorry. We know that the ATMs are lined up and ready to go because they have the lower denominations in it. But it doesn't do a whole lot of good to have lower denominations unless you have a rate that allows those to be effective and be useful. And we're waiting for those ATMs to be turned on. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen. We've also heard that Iraq may actually make this weekend, kind of a holiday, with tomorrow, which is their holy day, Friday, being considered a holiday. And so, as opposed to just a holy day. It might be significant. It might be significant to see what that turns into. But in terms of our timing, where we are, we know, for example, that paymasters everywhere around the world were given flexibility and given what we call the green light to begin payouts. That was new. We had not had that. That occurred, I believe it was yesterday at around 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Now, that's a very positive thing. It shows us movement, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to see this thing move along. The other thing we're seeing is that tabletop meetings everywhere started to pay out today around lunchtime. They started paying out, the funds that were tied to those tabletop meetings. These were regarding the ZIM, and they started to become liquid today. That's a very positive thing. Also, we heard that Tier 1s and Tier 2s were being paid out. That's a lot of SKRs being made liquid, and so on. Tier 3s are looking to get started possibly tomorrow, is what I'm hearing, and that could include some other groups and private groups that you guys probably know about. So that's a very positive step in the right direction in terms of that. Let's talk about the other information, which is where do we stand in terms of announcements? Is the USN something that will be announced? I'm looking for it, and I'll tell you why. I heard something this afternoon that tells us we are looking for President Trump to make an announcement from the Rose Garden tomorrow afternoon, and I think that, I don't know what that announcement's going to be about specifically, though, okay? But that will happen tomorrow, and we understand that there is another announcement coming Saturday around right prior to lunchtime, let's call it. That's another thing. Now, is the president going to make that announcement? I don't know that, but we are looking for another announcement. Could either one of these two be about the new USN, about a gold-backed currency? It's hard to say. I think it's possible. I think the timing for it is about right, okay? Because we heard a lot of good things about this was going to be our week this week, but so far it has not. Tomorrow's Friday. Maybe some of these things will occur. These announcements should occur Friday and Saturday, like I mentioned, Saturday around lunchtime. So we're looking at the possibility of getting started anytime. I've heard dates of any time from Saturday. I'm not hearing too much about tomorrow, but I'm hearing more about Saturday to Monday, possibly into Tuesday. I'm not really hearing anything beyond that, personally, just to let you know. I feel like we're at a great place in terms of everything having been done, everything ready for us. Rates are on the screens at the redemption centers, all currencies. Finally, the dinar showed back up again and was still there today. And the other thing is that the employees are ready. They're still on red alert and on standby at the redemption centers. And they've been going into work a little earlier than normal, or earlier than they ever have been. That was indicating, I thought, a possibility for an earlier start. Now, it's hard to say from that really where we are specifically, but I believe that we're in a really good place for this to be revealed. We do not need the USN announcement, however, to move forward with our part of the redemption, to get Tier 4 started. It might be required for so-called Tier 5, which is the so-called John Q. public. That may be required before they get started. However, we are looking for it. We're looking for some movement on that. And I think that security is still in really good shape. I believe everybody is sort of signing off on their particular aspect of it as ready to go. I've heard things from certain bankers that indicate that we are right there. This is it. There's nothing else to do. And I've also heard of some ZIM redemptions taking place in Europe. And I think that's very positive, too. Now, has it made its way over here to us yet? No, not really, except for tabletop meetings and paying out Tiers 1 and 2 with Tier 3 looming. Okay? So that's overall the gist of the intel right now. And I just want to thank everybody for listening and being so faithful, because I know it's tough, guys, for this to go week after week, and yet it seems like nothing's happening, maybe, from your perspective. I can tell you there's a lot happening, and we are moving forward. we are not in the doldrums with this. We are moving forward, and I'm very comfortable with the fact that we're still moving forward. And I know that our president and the administration has very big ideas for us moving forward. And I even believe there was an executive order signed yesterday that would allow for funding to come forward to help a huge amount of people around this country. And I believe to some extent it's tied to prosperity packages or prosperity programs, as some people have referred to it. We know the prosperity programs are supposed to start going out about 2 to 4 hours after we get the toll-free numbers to set our appointments. And that's as soon as they'll go out. Now, I'm encouraged by the type of language that was actually sort of ensconced in the presidential order. But I think it just portends well for us moving forward to have everything that we've always wanted to do. One thing that did come out was, guys, there are a lot of people that will leave their jobs after this goes on. There are a number of people that will quit jobs, retire, do all that, and why wouldn't they, right? At the same time, there are a lot of people that will be filling in those jobs, some of those vacancies, a lot of those vacancies will be filled in, and there's also a number of new job creation that will take place with our projects. And what I think the government's a little concerned about is the loss of jobs, if you will, with the funding of the blessing and those coming out and people leaving jobs. And then we need to, those job numbers are going to be a little strange. And then we need to all supplement those with new jobs, new hires, and everything. And it could be kind of an interesting mix on how that goes forward. But keep in mind when you go in for your appointments, if you want to do humanitarian projects, keep in mind infrastructure, like Sue talked about, and what that would mean, and of course, new hires or employment.